Power to the truth. This is Sunday, December 30th, 2018, and this is Margo, and we're going to do an earthquake report today. I'm starting out by showing you the ozone levels around the world, but specifically this hole that's opened up over the South Pacific. I'm thinking because of all the sulfur dioxide that's been released from the volcanoes, but especially Krakatoa down here in Indonesia, and the earthquakes. And that's, the scale is down here. That's about 200 Dobson units, and then we still have the thinning around the midline of the earth and a little bit further down, blue and green, that's all thinning. So I just wanted to show you that the ozone is still quite thin around the mid latitudes, and then it's even thinner over here in the South Pacific. I'm not sure what to make of the heavy ozone that's showing over the Arctic and over the Pacific Ocean. I'm thinking it's coming from China and going all the way up in the atmosphere. This is total column level of ozone on CAM's Copernicus website, and then it comes across. So I don't know, I'm not an expert, I'm just showing you what I'm finding on CAM's. So there's that. And there, I had it on the PDF file, so we're going to leave that there. Next, I'm going to go to some comments that were left under my videos since yesterday. And I did two videos yesterday. I did the earthquake report and I did a spiritual video. It was a channeled message on the evacuation for people who are ready to go, and my thoughts on the New York City blue light incident. And so I got two comments from Dia Dim Glow. She said, I'm assuming it's a she, I'm not for sure, "Such a beautiful message on the other video. God bless you." Thank you, Dia Dim Glow. I appreciate it. And she says, "Thank you for the response video on the NYC event. I agree with you. What you said is in alignment with visions I had over 2 years ago. Many things were confirmed in your message." Thank you, Dia Dim Glow. I appreciate that. I did turn off comments under that video because I didn't want a bunch of negative stuff and me trying to explain and things like that. And it's hard enough just to put the message out there. So thank you for your support on that. I appreciate it. And then Troy Turton commented under my earthquake report from last night. He says, "Not that I'm laughing at you, Margo, when I say LOL at you mentioning the 6.9 magnitude earthquake at Mindanao, the Philippines quake coming in right after you uploaded your report, because I was just going to check my mails before going off the internet as well, when there was the USGS mail waiting for me about it. So I of course immediately went right back on Facebook and made a post about it. Then signed offline for the night. What's freaky is, as you said, it was originally listed as a 7.2 quake. After I read the report, I saved it to my USGS folder in my mail. The freaky part is going back just now to look at it. That mail now says it was a 6.9. How can a mail I read and saved to my folder as a 7.2 quake late last night now read as a 6.9 today? I swear to God, it's 100% truth." I totally believe you, Troy, and my answer to that is AI is being used in a lot of different agencies and all over the internet for different things, and I'm thinking they have an AI algorithm that's connected with all the emails and all the information that goes out, and just because it said 7.2 in the original email doesn't mean it's going to stay that. They could have had a tag on that or a link on that with an AI bot or algorithm that would automatically change it wherever it was linked to, whether it was an email or what. So that's my thought on that. And I have something else weird to show you about USGS too. There was an earthquake. I'll go ahead and show that now since it's on my mind. I was going to show you guys that. I have pulled up here 7 days, magnitude 2.2.5 and higher, because when I did my report yesterday, I did it about 3 o'clock, like it's 3:20 now Pacific time. Did about 3 o'clock yesterday, and you see this yellow earthquake here. That was not showing up when I did the report yesterday, but it says that it came in yesterday at 11:44 in the morning my time, but it was not on USGS. It was not showing up because it wasn't on my report. And I even went back and watched the beginning and the ending of the video to see if it was on there, and it was not. So it was an earthquake that happened up here on this tectonic plate line between the Atlantic and the European plates, right in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. An area I watch very closely, and also it's near Greenland. It was a 4.7 at the Regions Ridge, and it was right on that line. And then last night at 22:48, hang on. So at 10:48 last night, my time, there was another earthquake that showed up right next to it that was a 4.9 on the Regions Ridge. So there's that. So, you know, USGS is not infallible, and I just wanted to show you that because they do mess around with the data, and I've heard Dutch Sense report on earthquakes saying, oh, it's not showing up on USGS, but it's showing up on these others and things like that. So they do mess around with the data, and it wouldn't surprise me one single bit if they had an AI bot connected to the thing in the email that, you know, you woke up and it was changed. So there's that. And then you left another comment that I think warrants a little bit of discussion. You said, and I was going to ask you about possible videos you've done that go along with the title of your channel here. Had you done any? But instead, I just started looking back through all your vids. That's a good idea here, and found out you had. And that was one of the reasons that I mentioned Paul Beckwith the other day too, because he recently did a couple of videos on how to train yourself to deal with all the negative and stress coming in from the climate change situation. I mean, I sometimes see why people turn off the TV news and never read anything about any negative things happening in the world today. But I'm the type of person who can't just walk around turning a blind eye or ear to things I'd rather not know about. Because in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why everything has gotten as bad as it has. Too many people paying little to no attention and doing even less about anything. People don't like me because of all the posts I make on social media all the time. But hey, someday one of them might wake someone up just in time to save their life, or so they can save someone else's life. I agree, Troy. And if you'll look through my channel, I have a lot of spiritual videos here and a lot of things besides climate change. In fact, I just started looking at and posting videos on climate change this year. I've interviewed Guy McPherson twice, and then I've back in April I started posting videos about information I saw on cams and doing my own research and stuff to try and understand what was going on, and people liked them, and that's kind of how I got into this. And I'm a little bit different than the other people in the climate change world, in case you haven't figured that out. I'm coming from a very spiritual viewpoint. I am empathic. I do believe in Jesus. I do communicate with other realms. I've done a lot of empathic and healing work with individuals. I now do one-on-one coaching with people to help them kind of prioritize things in their lives and deal with things, and do it from a spiritual viewpoint. If you'll look back through my videos and find the Campfire Chats with Margo, then that's where we talk about the ladder, coming up through the ladder of awareness, and what happens as you become more and more aware, more and more awake, and as you change. If the people around you aren't awakened, then they just can't come up to speed, and so it is a dividing, and it is hard. And we all do our part. We all do what we can. And I know that Paul Beckwith is scientifically minded, and a lot of the people in the scientifically minded world are atheists. They don't believe in a creator, and they believe that all this just came about just by accident, which is beyond me. I don't know how anybody could think that this creation or this world is an accident when you see the order, the beautiful order of everything, and that when one of those comes out of balance, it screws everything up. And so personally, I don't know how anyone could not believe that there is some kind of creative force behind the world that we're living in. But that's just my viewpoint. And I know that the people who come from the other viewpoint, they like psychological models to help them to deal with stress and things like that. And that's fine. But I come to this from a spiritual viewpoint, in that I do believe the end is near, and the abrupt climate change and the evidence that we're seeing are just more of the signs that the end is near, and that when we talk about the end of life, not just the end of human lives or animal lives, but all life on the planet, I don't see how that is anything but a spiritual message. So that's my focus. But I appreciate you being here and contributing and leaving your insightful comments. I definitely appreciate them, and I hope you get some good out of these videos. But I'm just saying that I come from a different viewpoint than the climate scientists. Yeah, I can show you things and do my own research, but it's hard to find a meeting ground with the scientists, because a lot of the scientists, most of them, You know, they won't come out and give you all the information, and they can't because they would lose their jobs or they might even lose their lives. So we're kind of in the dark, and I kind of consider that it's a scientific priesthood, and they're in a club and I'm not in it and you're not in it. You know, those of us who are just on the outside trying to understand it, we can only understand it so far. And then the ones from the priesthood, unless they give us good information and up-to-date information and true information and complete information, then we don't know what we're dealing with. And so far I haven't seen evidence of that from anyone. So, but I do appreciate Guy McPherson sharing what research he's done and his viewpoints and his findings, and you know, he walked away from it. So anyway, and that's all I'm going to say about that, and that's all I'm going to say about that in the future, and that's it. And I do believe time is so short that we don't have time to argue with each other. We don't have time to be angry or upset. I mean, we just have to move on. And I feel an urgency to show these earthquake reports every single day now. And I'm not doing that much on climate reporting because the earthquakes are showing us quickly, day by day, exactly what's happening and that things are ramping up. And I do believe that we are in the end times and that everyone needs to get their spiritual house in order before it's too late. So those are my thoughts on that. So now let's go over to our earthquake map. This is all magnitudes in the last 24 hours, 229 earthquakes. And we've had, and so I'm going to go to all last 24 hours, 2.5 magnitude and higher around the world. We're going to look at those first, and then we're going to look at all magnitudes to look at the tiny ones in the United States. So I'm going to start up here. I already showed you in the North Atlantic we had this 2.9 at Reykjanes Ridge, 10 kilometers deep, right on the red line. Then Iceland had a 4.3, 10 kilometers deep, right on the red line. So that's significant. And then down here at the South Atlantic, we had a 4.9 at the South Sandwich Islands, and that was on the red line. Then South America, they had a 4.5, and San Antonio de los Cobras, Argentina, and that was 194 kilometers deep. Then I'm just going to go around a circle like this. Then let's zoom in here. There was a 4.4 at Tonga, 338 kilometers deep. That will make the plate shake when they're that deep. 4.8 Papua New Guinea, 205 kilometers deep. 4.5 Papua New Guinea, 161 kilometers deep. 4.8 Indonesia, 66.2 kilometers deep. Here was a larger one, a 5.0 at Kota Ternate, Indonesia, 44 kilometers deep. And then a big one, a 5.8 on Sumatra at it was 168 kilometers deep. I haven't done follow-up to see if there were injuries or anything like that. So there's those. So this region is becoming quite active. 5.0, I showed that, and 4.6, Pagan Northern Mariana Islands, 35 kilometers deep. 5.0 at the Carlsberg Ridge, and actually there was more than one. There were two down here. There was you can't see it. It was covered up by the bigger one. There was a 4.7 and a 5.0 at the Carlsberg Ridge, 10 kilometers deep. You can see that's on the red line. It's in the Arabian Sea. There was a 4.2 at Carpathos, Greece. 2.9 at Italy, Gallicano nel Lazio, Italy, 10 kilometers deep. Then there were three right over here in this area. 4.2 in Afghanistan, 194 kilometers deep. 4.2 at Tajikistan, 10 kilometers deep, and a 4.2 on the east side of Tajikistan, 125 kilometers deep. I showed you this one. Then up here in Japan, there was one on, looks like, on the land, on the mainland, of 4.1 at Minami Rincon, Japan, 114 kilometers deep. A 4.7 in the Sea of Japan, 434 kilometers deep. That was quite deep. And Tokyo is right up here. So let's go on around. There have been some more up here off the coast of Kamchatka, and one of 4.7, 10 kilometers deep. Now, then over here in Mexico, of 4.0 at Playa Vicente, Mexico, 126 kilometers deep. I think that's the major ones. Showed you those. And so now we're going to hop over to the all magnitudes, and we're going to go zoom into Hawaii. 13 here today on the island, on the mainland of Hawaii. Here's one right on the coast. I'm just going to call them off: 1.8, 1.9, 2, 2, 1.8, 1.8, 2.2, 2, 1.9, 1.7, 1.9, 2, and 2.9 was at Volcano, Hawaii. So those are still small. The 2.9 is getting up there though. So now we're going to go to the Dominican Republic. We had 12 here. I'll just call them off: 1.7, 2.2, 2.8, 1.5, 3 at Puerto Rico, 1.1, 1, 1.6, 2.7, 3.7 at Puerto Rico, 3.2 at Dominican Republic, and 2.1. So there's those. Now in the United States, we had down here in Arizona, we had 3 actually, right here in at Seligman, Arizona. We had a 3.2, 5 kilometers deep, 2.5, 5 kilometers deep, and 3.1, 5 kilometers deep. And normally this area does not see earthquakes. I don't know what that was from, but it was, you can see it was west of Flagstaff, just north of Interstate 40. And then up in the Yellowstone region, okay, nothing in Utah. And okay, here's in Idaho, Montana, a 2.1 at Lima, Montana. I think that's all up there, correct? While I'm up here, let's zoom into Seattle, Washington, or west of Seattle at Bethel. That had 2.3. Now let's go down to Nevada. We'll start at the southern end like we normally do. I'm showing 11 on the map. These are microquakes of 0.3, minus 0.5, 0.1, 1.5, 0.1, 1.4, minus 0.1, minus 0.5, 0.2, minus 0.2, and 0.7. All down here in southern Nevada. Let's hit the California quakes while we're going up the road here. We're seeing a 0.1 across the border here in California. Here's a 2.8 at Dixon Lane, Meadow Creek, California. Here's a 1.0 at Mammoth Lakes, and 0.7 at Mammoth Lakes. So coming on up, here's Walker Lake in the Hawthorne area. We're seeing 13 here, 0.6 at Hawthorne, 1.3 Hawthorne, 0.7 Bridgeport, 0.5 Bridgeport, 0.2 Hawthorne, 1.1 Bridgeport, 0.5 Hawthorne, 1.0 Bridgeport, 0.9 Dixon Lane, Meadow Creek, a 1.1 Hawthorne, 0.6 Hawthorne, minus 0.2 Hawthorne, and 1 at Bridgeport. So that was pretty active there, but they're still pretty small. Did we see this one? Here was one, a 1.0 at Urington, Nevada. Okay, I think we got those. Yeah, we got the Bridgeports. Carson City. Okay, here's the Reno area. Let's look at all of these together. We're seeing 9. Okay, a 0 at Truckee, California, at 6.5 kilometers deep. So that was a microquake that was very tiny. 1.0 at Spanish Springs, right up here on the map. 0.4 in Carson City. We saw the Urington one. 0.4 Carson City. 1.0 Truckee. 0.6 at Tahoe Vista, right north of Lake Tahoe. 0.8 at Truckee, and a minus 0.1 at Indian Hills, which was down here in Carson City. So Truckee had a couple of small ones, and the Tahoe area had a couple. Now up here we had a 1.0 at Portola and a 0.3 at Portola. Nothing at Pyramid Lake. Let's see. Here's a 0.9 at Quincy. Just looking through to see. Here's Oroville, nothing happening over there. Guess they're not blasting today since it's Sunday. Here's a 1.6 at Anderson, California. 1.7 at Hamilton City, California. Let's come down this time. Let's look at the geysers. We've got 11 here, from 0.3 up to 2.0. Then coming on down, nothing in the San Francisco area. Here's Day Valley, California. Right down here, 2.6, Day Valley, California, south of San Jose. It's in the mountains. Oh, I missed this one. 1.0 at Crockett, California. That was north of San Francisco. So this one down here at Day Valley, we can see it's near that red fault line, the San Andreas Fault. And then we've got a 2.0 at Tres Pinos and 1.6 at Pinnacles, all on that San Andreas Fault line. Now heading down into the Los Angeles area. On this map here, we've got 32. So all in this Los Angeles area. So these are small, like a -5. I'm seeing up to it. Here's a 2.3 at San Dimas. And then these are in the zeros and the ones. And here's a 2.3 at Aguanga, California. So there's those. Now let's go on down. Here's this cluster by Kauai. We have, in this view, we have 36 earthquakes. Did I say volcanoes a while ago? Well, you know I meant earthquakes. These are all under 1. Here's a 1.2. Here's a 2.8 at Julian. Right down here. Zeros and 1.5, 1.1, and then, or when I say 0, it's between 0 and 1. And then a 2.3. So those are pretty small. And nothing down here in Mexico. Oh, we've got one down here I just saw. A 2.2 at Progreso, Baja in Mexico. And this 1.5 at Puebla in Baja. So there's that. So let's hop on up to Alaska and we'll wrap this up. Now Alaska has had some larger magnitude earthquakes right after I finished my show yesterday. This 4.6 showed up at Kodiak, Alaska in the ocean, and there have been quite a few 4 points up here in the last 24 hours. So I've got all of Alaska here in my view. We've got 71, so we can see the number has gone down, but you're going to see that the magnitude has gone up. Here's a 3.6 over here on the west coast at Unalakleet, Alaska. Then we've got in the 1s and the 2s. Here's a 2.8 at Larsen Bay, Alaska, down here. 2.7, Koktovik, Alaska, up here. They had quite a few right up there. I think they had a 4 point something up there too. Let's scroll down and see. Yeah, here's a 4.5 at Koktovik. See how deep that was, 9.2 kilometers deep. Then in the 1s and 2s, here's a 4.6 at Kodiak. I showed you that one. And that's it. The rest are in the 1s and 2s. So if we zoom him down here at Anchorage again, this is only 44 in the viewing area. So that's going down. Remember how this was swarming so much, where it was like 70 and 100 and over. That's kind of going down now, so that's 42. So let's zoom back out and see if anything major came in while we were doing this report. And we'll wrap it up for today. Now I think the only ones that have come in since I started were small ones. So I think that wraps it up for today. I hope everyone is having a good weekend, and if they're going to celebrate for New Year's, be safe, don't drink and drive, and keep your eyes open. And my recommendation is, like I said, get your spiritual house in order. Be aware, sober, and alert, and ready for whatever is to come. And until next time, my name is Margo. I love all of you. God bless you, and good night.